Today we are going to discuss the rules of a new game called Lords of Vegas. The game has been around for a little bit. It focuses more on building your casinos in a Vegas style environment. There is a strip, there is Flamingo Road, there is Monte Carlo and a few other roads if you remember what Vegas is like. The main idea of the chip is to start owning some of these casinos, and we'll get to the gameplay right after. The components consist of these dice, and the dice have a big role to play in this game. There are these chips that show what kind of properties you own on the strip, and these are the different color cards. There's a handy little card that tells you what kind of actions you can take. Obviously, there's money and all those things. This is the scoring marker that starts with 0, as you can imagine. At the beginning of the game, there are these game cards. There are different colors showing green color, silver, and so on and so forth. There are different types of casinos represented. You shuffle the deck. Assuming the instructions for two-player games right now, shuffle the deck. You give out 2 cards to each of the players. On these cards, there is the color, and then there is the number or the sequence that is written. So there is C5 and B6. So if, let's say, the green player gets C5 and B6, they will put their initial marker on C5 and B6. So on the board you have C here, so all the C's are together, B's are together, and so on and so forth. And then you put a green marker on B6. Similarly, for the blue player, we have C6 and C9. So the blue player will go ahead and put their chips on C6 and C9. And then to start the game off, you also need some money. So you get the money that is written here. So you get $9 base money and then $6. So green player gets $15. And blue player gets 6 and 6, that is $12 to start with. At this point, these cards are discarded. The way you discard the cards, and this is really important how you do it, the gray ones goes on the gray one, this one goes here, green one goes here, and then this one again goes here. So that's how you discard, because you want to keep a track of what color cards have been discarded the most, which determine how you continue with the gameplay. We got the money to start with. Hereafter, you take this deck and you make 4 sections of the deck without seeing the cards where they are going. And you can make roughly 4 sections. And then insert this game over card in between. So that shows that this section of the cards will not get used in the gameplay. And then you put the deck on the side. Now in each player's turn, you will draw the first card and you will take some actions, and we'll talk about those actions as needed. So let's say we start with the blue player's turn. The first card is D1. And it's a silver color card. So I'll start with D1. First thing that you do is put this chip on D1 over here. Then you pay out these casinos. The way you pay out is that for every small chip that you have, you get $1. And then when you start owning the casinos, you get more money, and we'll talk about that. But then initially, blue player will get $1 per chip that they have. So $1 for this, $1 for this, $4 for the start money. So the blue player right now will get $6. And then you get to put the chip here on D1. And then the green player will get 1 for each of these pips. These are called pips. So you get, or chips. So 1 chip here and 1 chip here. So you get $2. This is awarded to the green player. Now during the gameplay, as I called out, there are a few actions that you can take based on these cards. The first action is a build action. For build action, by the way, this card goes here again. For build action, you can build a casino at one of these positions. So to build a casino on D1, I need $20 million. Each of these cash denotes $1 million. So to build here, you need 20 million. To build here, you need 12 million. To build here, you need 12 million. In this game, your intent should be on building casinos, because that's how you'll make more money. So I'm going to start with putting $12 million and build a casino over here. So I put $12 million. I'll take this chip out. And then the way you build a casino is you look at the number of pips shown on this die. So there are 4 pips shown on this. So I'll build a casino with 4 on top like this. And then I get to pick a color. There are 5 different colors. Note that these 5 different colors may correlate to the colors here, but they have nothing to do with the card that you are drawing. So when I'm building my first casino here, I can pick any of these colors. Now, the way you determine what you should pick is that you look at the colors that have opened up here. This deck of cards has 9 of these each. So 9 of purple, 9 of golden, 9 of green, 9 of silver, and 9 of brown. So you pick one of these colors. Now we see that 2 brown cards have opened, 2 silver have opened, and 1 green has opened. So it's better for you to pick a color that has not opened because the chances of getting a card from here is more. So I will pick, let's say, golden. So I will pick a golden casino card and put it over here. Now the significance of this we'll talk about in just a bit. Putting that green marker here as well on the start point. At this point of time, my turn is all done. I did have other options which we'll talk about as the game progresses. Let's play the green player's turn. Similar concept, you open the first card. It's a green E3. So the green player gets to put their chip on E3 after the payment. So there's $1 for this, $1 for this, $5 for the start play. So the green player will get $7 for this. This goes over here. The green chip goes on E3. And blue player also gets paid. So $1 for this, $1 for this, and $1 for this. Now, because we are talking about a casino that has already been built, you get $1 for every independent casino, but you also get more money if the drawn card was a yellow card. We'll get to that next. If we don't get a yellow next, then we'll just assume that it's a yellow by going through the deck. Anyway, so we get $3 for the blue player as well. So note that no matter whether it's your turn or your opponent's turn, you all get paid for the casinos. The payment is pretty much the same no matter whether it's your turn or the other players, except for the seed money, the start money. Now, green player, we have $24. Applying the same concept, they will try to build as many casinos as possible. Let's go with this E3. The reason why I picked this E3 is because there are also some strip cards. When they open up, casinos on the strip get paid more. So it's always better to try to build something on the strip versus something inside. So this and this being inside, I'm going with this one. $15 million to build that casino. I'm going to get pay 10 and 5. Taking this green chip away. That number is 5, so 5 shows up on the top. And then the player has the option to pick any of these cards. Again, because yellow is already here, so it seems like blue is kind of claiming yellow, so let's steer away from that. Let's claim purple now. I'm going to put a purple here. Now, the turn is over, blue player's turn. Let's hope that we get a purple or a golden. If we don't, we'll just, because this is instruction play, we'll just pull it out. So let's say this is the card that was pulled out next. This is D7. As per the original rules, we'll start the payment first. So $1, $2, and $3, $5 seed money. So blue player gets $8. And then because it's a purple card, green player is going to get $1 here, $1 here, and $5 because the pip of 5 is on top of a purple casino. So this is $5, $6, $7 being paid to green player. In addition to this, anytime a casino card opens up, you get 1 point for one of these sites. So if you had a casino with like 3 or 4 sites, you would have gotten 4 points. Since it's a casino with 1 site, you get 1 point. So green player is now on 1 point. And then you discard this card. Now we'll talk about some of the other options that players have. So there is the building card, which is to pay money to build these. So now I look at blue player. We have, wait, we missed it, E3. We get to put this token on, no, what did we open? D7, I'm sorry. So D7, we get to put this pip on D7 over here. Now this person has the option to build another casino. So let's do this. We'll build a casino over here, or a point over here for $12 million. So 2 here and 10 here. We get a C6, a 4-point marker. And I kind of want to keep extending my golden casino, so I'll put a golden marker up here. This will now give me a casino which has 2 sites. So it's always better to have casinos with more sites than independent casinos. So that's why we're building 2 here. We'll try to keep expanding it as much as possible. Now we'll talk about some of the other actions. So the other action is um, sprawl action. Sprawl action is, let's say I have a lot of money. Let's say I don't right now, but let's say I had a lot of money and I was like, well, I have two sides, but I want to sprawl and capture more of these. What I could do is I could just pay double the cost and just build anywhere I want. So I could say anywhere next to my casino. So because I have these two sites, I could say that I want to build here. 15 million is the cost. I can pay 30 million and own this site. Same concept applies. You put one of these dice over there, you pick one of the colors and you can put them over there. Note that during the gameplay, because this number had not opened up, anybody can get that card open up from here. If you do end up, if your opponent ends up getting that card, they can just go and own the property. So your dice will be removed and their dice will be replaced for free. So that's a disadvantage.
But can you buy it from them?
You cannot buy it from them. I mean, you can buy it from them if you want to, like you can trade casinos and do those kind of things. But in most cases, you don't end up doing that. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. You cannot trade casinos. The way to buy is a little bit different, and I'll talk about that. The other option is remodding. Let's say a lot of brown cards had opened or a lot of purple cards had opened up and you're like, well, purple is almost over. I want to change the color of my casino. You can change the color of this dice as long as there are more tiles available over here by paying $5 each. So if I had to change this golden here to a green, I had to pay 5 each, which means $10, and I can remodel the casino to have a different color. The other option is reorganizing. So if, let's say, I was to build a casino at a property at a location that has very low value, right? Like D5 over here only has 1 pip. So if I was initially building it, I would pay 8 million and get this site to look like this. But this doesn't give me a lot of advantage, right? So what I could do is I could pay the number of pips available on any of these casinos to basically reorganize that casino. The way that would work is, let's say there was a yellow token here and I made it like this. I would pay $1 for this pip. So I would pay $1. That lets me re-roll this dice. So now I will roll this dice. It's 2. I get to put it 2 over here. Note that in any given turn, you can only re-roll a certain casino dice once. So it's like it's your disadvantage if you don't get a higher number. But in the next turn, you can try again if you have money to spare. And then the last thing which people sometimes try to do is gamble, which is this section. This one has a little bit of rule on how craps is played. So you go ahead and roll 2 dice, any 2 dice, and you decide which casino you want to bet on. So I could say that, and you can only bet on a casino that has these markers available, the color carded owned casinos. So for example, green could say that I want to bet on this casino that has 2 segments. You get $5 maximum bet per segment. So you can bet up to $10 in this casino, and this is where you bet. What you do is you roll this die. It's a 6. You don't get any payment on 6. So you basically lose your $10 to the person who owned this casino, in which case green loses $10 to pay to blue. If you got
$10 or 10 million?
$10 million, sorry. Every time I say 10, it's $10 million. If you get a 2 or a 12, casino pays double. So I would pay double and I would pay green. If you get 5 to 8, then you lose your money and it goes to the casino owner. Now, one last thing, which is an important rule on how you respawn and how you claim casinos and whatnot. Let's say at some point of time, yellow owned this spot and try to build it. Green owned this spot and try to build a yellow marker over here. They will get this token over here, get this away, get a 1 over here, right? So now this is a 3-platform casino, but this one is still owned by blue because blue has a 4 marked chip. If green was to build over here with a 6 on top, then all of a sudden, even though blue owns 2 points, green will be the owner of the casino. The owner of the casino is decided by whatever is the highest number of die that is placed over here. At this point of time, blue might want to regain control of this casino. The way that would work is that blue would have to pay $1 for each of this pip, right? So $6, $4, and $4. That's $14. Blue would pay $14 and ask for a reroll. Now the way that would work is green would roll this dice and blue will roll these 2 dice because that's where they're situated. So as blue, I roll these 2. I got a 3 and a 2, and green roll this one. We got a 4. So, this didn't work out in the favor. Green still owns this property and they'll still get the points. So, the points that you get over here is only awarded to the person who owns this casino. And then you can keep doing this in every roll. So if one roll green wins, then blue can try. If blue wins, then green can try, and so on and so forth. And that's how you can keep managing casino and passing it on from one player to the other. Obviously, you want to keep control of as many casinos as possible because that is ultimately what will give you victory points. And victory points is what will have you win the game. At some point of time, it will become important to start having casinos with 2. Like for example, if you hit 8 and you only have casinos with 1 marker, they don't actually give you points anymore, because to go from 8 you have to go to 10. You need casinos with at least 2 of these, and as you can see on the board, it keeps increasing. So to get victory points here, to jump from 32 to 36, you need to have a casino with 4 markers, and so on and so forth. That's our game. Start rolling, start playing, and start owning these casinos to get more victory points.